Welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. In today's conversation, I'm going to reiterate a conversation that I'm pretty sure we've had in the past, but it is always very important to bring it back up every so often. And what is that conversation? What is that? That conversation is, guess what? Believe it or not, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you a damn thing. See, I'm close with a few people, right? And by by all means, they are some of the most caring people that I know because they will invest and sacrifice so much of their valuable time to go out of their way and help others, give them the game, whether it's like how to level up in this area, how to level up in tech, how to maneuver this way, how to maneuver that way. They have gained so much information throughout the years and they are so generous and considerate, which guess what? They don't owe you doing that, but just their heart, knowing where they came from, how hard they had to struggle, they want to just make it a little bit easier for you. See me, I'm of a different breed. I'm not like that. Like, while I really like to help and offer information to help people grow and level up, I am not that patient or tolerant and all of that because what I've seen, in my life is people move at their own pace if they move at all. And I'm like, you know what? My time is way too valuable to just be spending a bunch of time trying to help you here and there and hoping that you do what's in your best interest. No, I want, see me, this is how I qualify who I'm going to work with, right? And that doesn't mean that we can't, chit chat from here and there. We can't talk and all of that stuff. But when it comes to me investing my time, dedicating my resources into your self-development, I am very, very particular how I move that way, right? And I'm like, all right, cool. So one of the things I do is, okay, what have you done? That's my question to you. What have you done? What is your game plan? And based on what you've done, now I say, okay, cool. We can start working together so that we can help strategize and stuff like that. But there are people out there who they want to build their name, their alleged career off of other people's ability and potential. And they will try to make you feel terrible because you are not sacrificing your hard-earned time, money, resources, etc., to make their life better because you won't do it for them. And I'm like, kick rocks. Like, I always say, the most important thing to me is my time. That's why I use my calendar religiously. But I am not going to be investing more into your self development than you are willing to invest into it. And that's why, and that's why I praise my brothers and sisters who want to dedicate the time and the knowledge that they've accumulated throughout the years to people who hopefully they are going to do the right thing. That are hopefully going to follow their advice and level up. I mean, I'll see someone ask a question and then one of my guys, they'll go in like boom, 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 give them a full blueprint. Come back 2 months later. So how's this thing going? Still there. Like, no progress, no change. I've known people personally who spent thousands of dollars of someone else's money to go and take a boot camp or something like that, just so they can get the title of software developer. Did they ever use it? Not at all. Oh, I just wanted the knowledge. Okay, why are you spending somebody's hard-earned money to just get a title, to know how it works? Adding absolutely no value, want to grow off the backs of other people. See, and that's why maybe it's me, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but guess what? I don't care because my time is not going to be wasted for you to feel better. And that's why I say, all right, when I'm working with people, I'm like, all right, cool. What like show me your plan. What do you want to do? And by all means, I can take your plan and then we can work on it together. We can level it up. But you have to be doing something. You have to have some type of goal in mind. And I think the mistake that a lot of us make is that we're too kind. And I think the reason that a lot of people fall out with one another. See me, I don't fall out with people because I know my place. Maybe instead of the black sheep hat, I should be wearing the lone wolf hat today. The lone wolf hat. But I know my place. I focus on I was just talking to somebody today, right? And they were like, okay, what do you think about, this person who's close to you and how this happened and stuff? I'm like, look, me, I focus on what is going on in the four walls in my home and what I can see in front of me. I focus on the task at hand. I plan on the things that are in front of me. So if I need to go and learn something, I'm going to do it. If I need someone in my household to go and get some skills so that we can grow in a particular way, they're going to do it. If something is going on outside of there, I'm gonna protect the perimeter, of course. But something going on like 5, 6, 700 miles away, it's not gonna get my attention like that because we have things that we need to do here. So now, when you try to come into my world, I'm like, all right, cool. What is it that you need? Yeah. Do you guys remember Bad Boys 2? I think it was Bad Boys 2. And the young man came to pick up Martin Lawrence's daughter. And they answered, they're like, what you want? What you want? What you doing here? And the little kid, poor kid, he's like, I'm just here to take out whatever her name was. Me, I'm like, what are you reaching out? Like, I'll tell you this story. I'll tell you another story. You know how these pyramid scheme people will be approaching you? Tell me if I'm wrong. I remember one time down here in the South, we have the grocery store Publix. I'll give you two different occasions, right? So one time I'm at Publix, got off of work, stopped by Publix on the way home. Wife needed something, all that, and I'm looking at avocados. Yes, the Hass avocado, little tiny, not the big Florida avocados, but little tiny Hass avocados. And some guy comes up next to me, and I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, oh yeah, like, you're looking at avocado? I'm like, yeah, I'm looking at avocados. Like, why are you in my mind, see, as soon as a stranger approaches me, my mind is, all right, why is this person talking to me? What do you want? And he's like, oh, avocados, this avocado. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, how do you I'm like, I don't know. I just pick one and I go from there, right? And then he's like, and then he follows me a little bit more. He's like, oh, I wanted to tell you about this thing about, coming to, I think it was Amway or some nonsense like that. And I'm like, okay, see, I knew you wanted something. And I'm like, he gives me a card. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, I'm not interested. Leave me alone. Like, I'm not going to have a 15-minute conversation with you about this, right? Leave me alone. We're not going to be friends. We're not, like, you're not adding any value to my life. Like, leave me alone, right? The other time, I'm at Walmart late night at around 10:30 at Walmart, right? Right down the street from my house. And this guy, this other guy, he approaches me and he's like, oh, how you doing? Da, 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 da. I'm like, in my mind already, I'm like, why is this guy approaching me, asking me how I'm doing in the middle of Walmart while I'm looking at some desserts? Like, why are you approaching me? And he keeps going, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, the whole time I'm thinking like, okay, what do you want? See, whenever somebody says, oh, I want to talk to you, I know something is up. Because if you want to talk to me, you can just say, hey, here's like, and you start talking about whatever it is you want to talk about. You don't have to like say, hey, I want to talk to you. Just talk to me. But so I know that's something, especially if I don't know you. So I have one more for you, right? But this one is even better, right? So yeah, so then he's like, oh, he gets into, oh, like this, what I'm just gonna call it pyramid scheme, but he describes it whatever it is. I'm like, I'm not interested. Like, leave me alone. I might even said that. I'm like, dude, leave me alone. Like, I'm not interested. Like, just it's 11. It's like almost 11 at night. You're bothering me about some thing you're trying to sell me, and maybe a mistake you made, like leave me alone. Leave me alone, right? So the one I just remembered. So this gets even better, right? This one's even better. So this was someone that we actually knew, very close to us. And they're like, they didn't even come to me. They came to my wife. And they're like, "Oh, can you come to my house at around this time?" And we're like, she's like, "Why?" "I want to talk to you about what? About business." And she's like, "All right." So we go over there. Some knucklehead guy is trying to get us to buy this vacation thing, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm uninterested. I am totally uninterested. And he's like, "Oh, you're not interested?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Don't you like to travel?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "No." Like, I'm like, "No." He's like, "Why not?" I'm like, I said I paid way too much money for my house to think about leaving it whenever, right? I love my house. If we're talking about actual business, not me trying to go out there and recruit people to buy vacations or some nonsense like that. No, I'm not doing that. Leave me alone. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? A lot of times these people, because there's one thing as like selling something actually of value, and then trying to recruit someone to sell something to make you move up higher in the hierarchy. Like, no, we're not doing that. See, if you're trying to sell me like, "Hey, I got this business where I'm selling," see, but if that's the case, like let's say I'm wearing a Tech Coach Ralph shirt, right? Or I'm somewhere at Best Buy, and someone approaches me like, "Hey, I got this business where I can get you computers at a wholesale price for whatever, whatever." Like, tell me more. But if you're trying to tell me, "Hey, I'm trying to recruit you to join in under me so that you can sell computers and this like that," and you have to pay $1,000 to get in, like, are you going to sell to me or not? See, because if you're selling to me at wholesale, like if I can buy wholesale and then I have a business where I'm reselling or something like that, who knows? But you're trying to get me into, but here's the thing: these people, when you reject them, when you're like, "No, leave me alone," they're like, we look alike, so. "Oh, yeah, we look alike. Oh, why don't you want to support? No one ever wants to support. Oh, that's how I have to go work with these other people because people who look like me." I'm like, I don't care how you look like. I care what you do. And if you've never done anything, then we got nothing to talk about. And so if we dial it back now. So let's say, see me, because I work in coaching, right? Wanting to help you develop so you can be in the career that you want to be, getting closer into the tech industry. Do I ever promise someone that they're going to get a job? Absolutely not. Because guess what? I don't create jobs. So when these boot camps are saying, "Oh, you're going to get, like, we guarantee placement, 95% of our people get placed," but I see every single day online that, "Oh, it's so hard. I took this," like, I see people who've graduated from these boot camps for like a year ago and still nothing. But then, like, "Oh, you know what? If I just give a little bit more, but you still don't know how to do the work." So you're giving your wrong attention and your wrong research. But the thing is, I'm like, even if you made the bad decision of like not properly utilizing a boot camp and falling for their, for lack of a better word, lies, false advertising, I'll still be willing to work with you. And we can make the shifts. Can I promise you a job? I can't. But what I can promise you is that I am going to give you the tools that you need that you use on the job. And now we're going to work on our resume building. We're going to work on our interview preparation, all of that stuff. But can I promise you? Can I guarantee that you're going to find a job? I can't guarantee anything. If I'm not the one hiring, then I can't guarantee it. But here's the funny thing, right? People will pay $10,000 for a boot camp, but because they're going to hold your hand and make you feel all warm and fuzzy and tell you, "Oh, you're going to, like, we promise you're going to get a job making $100,000 a year," and you come to me, I'm like, I can't promise you anything. This is what I can promise you: you're going to work hard, you're going to learn how to do this stuff, but because you are going to actually put in the work, you're not going to be doing some fake stuff that nobody cares about, that no one's ever going to see. You're going to actually do the work, and then it's like, stop the presses. I don't know if tech is for me. So when you see me wearing these no days off, this black sheep hat, this lone wolf hat, it's because I live it. So my message to you, whatever position that you're in, whether you're one who's looking to get some assistance, some help, or whether you're the one who's giving it, you better take a I am an individual mindset, and that I am going to do whatever I have to do for me to progress. And if I find people of like mind is the keyword. Do not work with people who are not of like mind, because they, let me just put it like this, they will bring you down and they will do you the worst. See, and like I was saying earlier, this is why so many people fall out, because you could spend your entire life building up your profile, building up your career, building up whatever it is, your network and stuff like that. And then you bring in people because you are a nice person. You are like, you care for your community, right? So you're like, oh, you know what? I just want to lift people up and lift people up. And then because you're not lifting them up the way that they want you to lift them up, the way that they want you to support them, when you have been down the road, you have been to the promised land, and they have not. Now they are feeling some type of way, and that's where the fallout happens. To me, I don't ask people for anything. I don't even like asking my parents for, I don't even like asking my wife for stuff, because I have always been so focused on me figuring out myself that like that is hard. Like whenever I go to someone that I'm like, hey, I have an idea. I'm looking for, okay, I'm already thinking, okay, what can I do? What is the value that I'm looking to bring into this? And are you interested in working on this? And then we run it up together. But it's because we have the same similar mindset and goal and intention. See, I don't come with nothing to the table. I'll give you an example. When I started doing the morning show, and I would notice on Mondays, we have the numbers to look out for the week. And it hit me. I'm like, you know what? I always look out at these numbers on Mondays, but we never go back and follow up. And I said, I should actually go back and follow up. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to go live on Saturdays so that we can actually review the numbers for the week. And then in doing that, I have people who join us. Shout out to Mitch in your car, who sees the work that I'm putting in and trying to learn and trying to understand this myself. And they, being so much more well-versed in this, they join onto the show and they provide such valuable information. But did I say, hey, like you guys know so much more. Can you guys do this? I'm like, no, I'm gonna pioneer. I'm gonna lead the way for myself, not for anyone else, because I want to learn it. And then they jumped on and they provide so much support. But guess what? Whether they become too busy to do it one day or whatever, whatever the case may be, right? I don't because of the fact that I am able to pioneer my own way, to build my own path, do my own research and stuff like that. I can never have any hard feelings over what somebody else decides to do. See, that's what I see as the problem. People have hard feelings because people end up moving on with whatever the direction that their life is taking them. See me? I am of the most appreciative mindset for whoever does whatever for me. And when it's time for you, you have something bigger and better, I'm like, I will never tell you hey, if you have something that's going to do much more for you, go out there and do it. I can never handcuff something that doesn't belong to me. And that's why I always see that the when people fall out is because of that quote unquote power dynamic. The power dynamic is one person is actually there and does a lot, and the other is hoping to ride the coattails of someone else. And then when they can no longer ride the coattails, then That's when all the problems happen. I'm like, see, I'll never have that problem because I am so individual and independent. And I like when I train people, coach, like when I'm coaching people, I'm like, look, you when you come together with a group to build, it's because you have something to offer. And that's why I'm always asking, okay, what are you doing? What are you offering me in order to work with you? And by that offer is like, okay, this is what I've done. And I can take what you've done. All right, cool. So you're learning Python, for instance. You're learning like full stack development, Java, Mongo, whatever. And now let's use that to formulate that. And then, hey, you need some experience. Let's build something. And with that, it's like, okay, we're all bringing something together. But it's not like I'm just sitting here and I'm hoping to get rich off of you or something like that, or that you're gonna get rich off of me. No, like we all have our individual things that we do, and if we can come together for whatever that reason is, see, we don't have to agree on everything. We don't have to be like locked in to like, oh, if I'm drinking like whatever, if I drink coffee and you drink tea, then oh no, we cannot work that out. Like, I don't care what you drink. Like, hey, we have a plan, we have a mission. We're like, we're the tech mercenaries. We're the tech mercenaries where we can come together, we can handle the mission, we do what we gotta do, and then when we're done with that, we go and we live our lives. We might have some advice that's going to help us out, and we consider that accordingly. But we go and we handle our business that way. And then when there is another opportunity for the tech mercenaries, the tech barbarians to unite and do some amazing work, we do that. See, but if you guys remember the movie, the movie 300, there was that one little gremlin who felt a type of way because he was useless. So he went over there and he snitched on people and messed everything up. So you have to be very, very, very careful of the useless people who try to tag around. And I have no problem. You see, some people are like, oh, you can't call people useless. Yes, I can. Because if you are not actively doing something, whatever it might be, to bring more value to your own life. See, whether you want to bring value to my life, I don't care because I bring my own value to my own life. All the people that I'm close with, they bring value to their own life which then expands to the people who are in their near proximity. And then so forth. I'll give you an example. I know an absolutely amazing pharmacist, a legal pharmacist at that, right? But guess what type of value a pharmacist brings? They like to their whole community, where they can inform, okay, this is how you're supposed to take this drug. Oh, we have the generic brand and all that type of stuff. Like, and them going to school, putting in that work for years to come out of there. And, sometimes pharmacists work in like underprivileged neighborhoods to help the people in that neighborhood get a better understanding of what they're getting into. And then they build these relationships with them, right? So that way you're bringing a value to yourself because you got your education, you got your knowledge, you're able to take care of your family, you're able to grow your family, you're able to stock, like to fund your investments, your retirement, all that good stuff. But then you're also being able to bring value to your customers, to your company that you work for. If you might end up owning your own pharmacy, who knows? See, but that's the value. Doing something. See, me, I always say, okay, what are you doing? What have you done? It doesn't need to be much. I was on a coaching call this morning, and one of my tech barbarians, they was having a little bit of trouble figuring something out. I'm like, all right, cool, let's scale it back. See, but they work ferociously, and I know if they're struggling with something, it's serious. So I'm like, all right, let's scale it back. Let's make it even smaller. Next week's coaching call, I want you to have this part done. See, but that's because they invest in themselves, in their development, in their learning, in their ability, in their training. There has never been, well, maybe there's one thing, but I also modified that. But and I was like, but there has never been one thing that I told like the ones who are serious about it. Go ahead and do this, and they're like, all right, I'm gonna figure it out. They go out in there and do it, and they make it work. See, but that's the commitment to yourself. So you don't have to be committed to me because I'm gonna be all right. There's nothing that I can get out of you that I can't get out of myself. See, but you want to grow, you want to win. So I'm like, all right, this is the blueprint, this is the game plan. But I, I honestly think the collectivist mindset is our detriment. It hurts us the most because we think that we think that someone else owes us something, or even worse, for me, this is even the worst part. The people who have achieved and made it, and they think that, oh, I owe someone because I feel so bad for being successful that I feel like I have to give it back. And though the people that you feel that you have to give it back to, one of them will take you out. And that's why for me, I've always been like that black sheep, that lone wolf. I'm like, I'm not taking any days off. If you want to take days off, go for it. But I'm going to be working. I'm going to be figuring things out. We're going to be running it up. I'm not going to miss because I have goals. I have dreams. I don't even have dreams. You know what? Scratch that from there. I do not have dreams. I have goals because dreams only happen while you are sleeping. Right? But I'm awake and I'm vigilant. And I want you to be, especially if you want to come work with me, you have to be vigilant. You have to be dedicated. You have to say, there's nothing, absolutely nothing that's going to stop me. And I've come across people who've said that at the beginning, a week, 2 weeks into it, nowhere to be found. And that's cool but that's why there's a barrier to entry. I want you to be successful, but I want it only as much as you want it. So if you want it very, very minimally, then that's how much I want it. If you are up here, then I'll be right there with you, and we're gonna run it up together. Like if you saw the things that I've had people done, like that they do within a month of working with me, within 3 months of working with me, from people who never knew anything about Git, which to me those things are required to know to land a job in tech, right? Especially if it's on the more technical side, right? Knowing about Git, knowing about databases, knowing about like how to actually use them, not what they tell you on paper, and they have you connect to some fake databases. No, how to do real queries, how to use AWS, how to do mobile testing, stuff like that, how to document things. But I put my foot on your neck so that when you are interviewing, when you're doing your resume, when you're on the job, it's like, oh, this is easy because Tech Coach Ralph put me through the ringer. But you have to want it. I'm gonna end it with this, right? Keep your individualism. What are your goals? What is it that you want to accomplish? Simple as that. And when you go out there to do it, others will join along. Those of like mind. Watch out for those who are not of like mind. As a song from Nas said, featuring Foxy Brown, watch those people who are close to you. Make sure they do what they're supposed to do. Those are the ones who will be thinking about taking you out. I didn't say it verbatim because it's pretty graphic, but watch those. Make sure it's of like-mindedness. Always monitoring to see what is the level of work they're putting in. And if they are really close to you, you notice that see they're slacking off, say, hey, get your butt back to work. There are no days off. We are pushing forward. And if you want to get off the train, then by all means, no hard feelings. You can get off the train. But the ones who are going to be around you, who you keep in close circle, they better be putting the same level of effort that you are doing, and that you guys can win together. Because if not, it's going to be so much pain and heartache. Okay. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this Candid Conversations hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph. Do me a big favor on your way out. 2 things. Go over to www.techcoachralph.dev and sign up for the Patreon, where you can sign up to exclusive content as well as to one-on-one coaching with me, where we will work together, very closely together. We'll run it up. I'll help you get the skills that you need to get to the next step. Is that a job? Maybe. But that is the goal for you to get into. If that's your goal to get in tech, come work with me one-on-one. We can run up together, right? And lastly, if you haven't done so already, do me a big favor. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every single time that we go live or drop new content. And on that note, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Candid Conversations. Remember, do not sacrifice your individualism for anyone, all right? On that note, this is Tech Coach Ralph, and we are out.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.